The last reps that we do in a set are usually the most stimulating and therefore are usually the best reps in the set. They're the most intense, the most grindy, and usually we like to think that hard work equals progress, and usually that is the case. But a lot of the time, because it's so grindy, because it's so hard, we kind of cheat ourselves subconsciously. Sometimes it can be a long time, and it can be a long time before you actually realize you're doing it. So personally, I've experienced this a lot with my RDLs, so my Romanian deadlifts. It's always at the end of the set. It's always like last 2 or 3 reps, and at the end of the set, I would feel like I didn't do what I was supposed to do, and that is to target my hamstrings. That is just to stretch my hamstrings, to load the hamstrings. But then with those last 2 or 3 reps, I didn't do that. So I remember like multiple times I would do this, and then I wouldn't think too much about it, and then I would get enough reps to move up in weight, and I would move up in weight, and I would do the same, last 2 or 3 reps, didn't think too much about it, I didn't feel my hamstrings, but that's okay, I did the reps, and that's what counts. And then I moved up in weight once again, and I did this a couple of times, until I just realized my lower back's kind of hurting. It's kind of hurting, it's not precisely a good sign, because they're not supposed to hurt. And so, because of that, I went back down in weight and focused more on my form. But this ended up happening a couple more times before I really locked it down. So how did I do this? Well, it's pretty simple, really. I literally just reminded myself, I was just repeating in my mind, these cues, this, and this. Like for Romanian deadlifts, push your hips back. I just keep repeating, push your hips back, push your hips back, push your hips back. Chest up, chest up, chest up. Stationary knees, as in your knees don't move forward. Just repeating all these cues to myself for those last couple of reps where I would be struggling helped me maintain my form throughout those last reps. And personally, for me, I found that I would be reminding myself of cues at the beginning of my set, which now I think about it is kind of counterintuitive, because at the beginning of the set, your form is the cleanest. You're the most fresh. You're the most energy. And therefore, form really is not an issue at the start of the set. Form becomes an issue at the end of the set. And so by cueing yourself constantly for your last couple of reps, you ensure that those last couple of reps are doing what they're supposed to do. They look like all the other reps. And they give you the gains that you want from them. And for this little trick, you can do this for any exercise. For squats, on your last couple of reps, remind yourself, chest up, knees in line with your feet, meaning that they don't cave inward, and back straight. Just repeating cues in your head while you do the last couple of reps will help you so much more. They will help you maximize your last reps, those intense, grindy reps that will really stimulate and maybe possibly destroy your muscles. But that's what we want to an extent. And this trick is useful for any exercise, because on any exercise you will get to an intense part where you will be grinding out reps, or at least you should. If you're not training intensely enough. Right? You are not training hard enough. If you are, you might have this issue, and if you do, remind yourself of the cues. Right? When you're at that grindy state, remind yourself, keep the form straight. Remind yourself of all the cues that you use personally to keep your form straight. My cues may be different from your cues. Use your cues to keep your form on those last couple of reps, to maximize those reps.